What's up everybody, and in today's video we are going to be walking through how I went from this technique in 2013 to this technique when I was in the GB rowing team in around 2021. We're going to be walking through, I'll break down what I was doing well, what I wasn't doing well as a beginner, talk about how you can avoid making those same mistakes, or how you can improve those mistakes as well, and give you maybe some ideas or some drills to go away and try. And then we'll run through what I was doing well when I felt like I was technically rowing at my best. And again, try and break down the concepts. And for us, when we're coaching, it's always about breaking the stroke down into simple, actionable movements that you know you can do with your body or your arms, or how you move through your hips, rather than just saying the sort of kind of wishy-wash bullshit, like generic, have let the boat run and lever the boat and all that stuff. That sounds like it's advice, but it's not actually really something you can go away and try. Anyways, I'll try and stop waffling and jump straight into. Hey everyone, I hope that you're finding this video useful. If you want to get access to the full technical checklist that we look at when we run through coaching our athletes, and we have a look and see if they're making the changes that we want them to. This isn't the one that we use, but it's just a good starting point of everything that we've talked about. You can put in if you're on the rowing machine, or if you're in the boat, or if you're in both, and just check if you're doing it. If you even want, you can maybe score yourself out of 10 or whatever. If you want it, head to the link in the bio, fill in a couple questions to see if there's anything else that we can send your way to help you. Make sure that you watch the end of this video, and all the best. Happy training. So we'll start off. This was me in probably about 2012, 2013, maybe. So the first thing I would say is, I would say, I picked up, and again, apologies for the potato camera footage. But I would say I did pick up my technique pretty quickly. Like, I was somebody that, had fairly good technical progress early on. This was me. I wasn't even in a one piece at this stage. I think I had long johns on or something like that. But first off, this is maybe less so a technical thing, but if you're early in your rowing journey, and to be honest, even if you're well into it, some of the technical tips I can give are more about your mindset and how you approach the stroke, and how you go about making a change. And I think one of the biggest tips I can give is, when you go to make a change, when you go and try something different, when you go and maybe take away one nugget from this video and try it when you go out rowing, don't try and do that thing, make that change and make it feel good. The mistake that people make is they go out and they try and make a change, and they also want it to feel good instantly, or they want it to feel the same it was before. It's going to be likely that you're going to need to take a step back, that you're going to need to make the boat feel worse when you're making a change. So as much as possible, I'm just going to encourage you to really get focused on get focused on what is the change that you're trying to make, what is this advice that we're going to give you in this video, and just focus on doing that, and don't worry about the stroke feeling perfect. That is kind of what is getting in the way. And if you go out and try and make the change, and you're trying to make it feel good at the same time, and then you try the change and it doesn't feel good, you're immediately going to stop trying to do the change so that you can focus on making it feel good. So I think that was something I did well early on. I also fell in, maybe about 10 or 12 times in this friggin' the Clyde in Glasgow, which is not a clean river. It's not a nice river. There's sludge on the bottom of it. But anyways, don't be afraid to just be more in the moment with a technical change, is kind of what I'm saying. And I think that was a big part, more so than what I was doing specifically, but more it was about the way I was approaching the stroke and approaching rowing, that helped me really kind of have good progression early on. The other thing The other thing as well is literally what you're doing right now, which is you're watching film. I would go home. I was obsessed. I'm obsessed with coaching now. Back then, I was obsessed with rowing. And one thing I would do, I just go and watch. I type rowing into YouTube and just watch hours and hours and hours of footage. Look at what good crews were doing. What were they doing specifically? How were they moving? And try to bring that into my normal rowing. So you're doing the right thing here, watching footage. Oh shit, that was the wrong screen I just shared there. Anyways, holy shit, I've been waffling. I said I was going to get straight into it, and it's 5 minutes in, and I haven't even given you any technical advice. But anyways, so what I was doing well, definitely like general relaxation, like being loose was something that, I picked up fairly quickly, I would say. And it's something that you need to work at as a beginner. It's something that you need to work at when you're Olympian, on the paddle to your A final is staying loose. So it's something that really, really helped me get good progression. The other thing I think I was doing relatively well was this footage is so bad. I'm sorry. This is back in the day before friggin' iPhones had like HD cameras. So one thing I was doing well, I think the thing that was getting me the most speed was I was rowing really long. Like I was reaching out really far. I wasn't afraid to go out really wide with the hands. And actually, one thing that I did well towards the end of my rowing journey was I just rowed a little bit shorter. I actually ended up rowing too long. But chances are, if you're a beginner, if you're newer in your rowing journey, simply just thinking about, getting your rather than thinking about like reaching with your arms and trying to get your hands as wide as possible, think about getting your seat to your feet. So that's kind of a good analogy. And that kind of, when we think about reaching with the arms, sometimes we dip down and our hands go down and then the blade goes up and then we miss the water when we come in. If you think about getting your seat to your feet, like the analogy I used to say was like, I'd imagine that there would be someone on the stern here and they had like that's a questionable drawing. They had a string and they were pulling that string on my seat towards the full slide. So that was something that I think I did well. The other thing I did well was the idea of like, we talk about this a lot with the catch, but when you place the blade right, when you put the blade in before you push, you row more connected. You're more connected at full length, and you also avoid checking the stern. So I still wasn't doing it well here. I was still, kind of tipping all over the place. And the big issue I had at this phase was my stability. But there would definitely be some strokes where I would get the idea right of you're out, reach out as far as you can, put the blade in first, and then push. And you can see there, even then, I'd say, I'm not trying to blow smoke up my own ass here, but even at a relatively early stage, if you look at this body position, and I mean, again, like my back, I got a back injury very early on if it wasn't going to be obvious, but fully reached out, and all I'm doing with the hands is lifting them straight up. And the mistake that people make is when they take the catch, they open with the back, they lift the hands up and sort of in that direction, rather than lifting them straight up. What that means is, they maybe don't get connected through the stroke until they're about kind of like there, and they've missed, sort of like this little part of the stroke. Their blade could have been connected here, and instead it's connected here. So these are two things I was doing well. I was rowing long, rowing loose, and lifting my hands at the front, and then pushing hard with my legs and having a good leg drive and a good hang, and leaving the arms alone as I pushed and accelerated. And again, this is why I made that point at the start, because a lot of these things come from fear, and they come from being afraid of falling in. And when you're out at the catch here, you need to be patient. This is the most unstable part of the stroke right here. The boat's at its slowest. It's slowed down all the way. So when it's slower, it's more unstable. you're super unstable here. Like, you're far away from your kind of safety comfort blanket. But if you're loose and if you're not afraid of falling in, again, I'm only going to recommend you do this if you can safely get back in and you're not, you've got coaches to watch you and stuff like that, or teammates. But this is how I got progress early on, is just not being afraid to get all the way out here, chill out, spend time. Right, I'm going to wait until I'm connected. Okay, I'm connected, and now I'm going to push and hang and leave the arms alone. Stay loose, stay loose, stay loose. Yeah, anyways, enough about talking about how amazing I was early on. Let's go to what I could improve on back before the mullet and the baby face. Sorry, this is just like the only clean shot here. I think you can see stuff. But anyways, what I could improve, number one, so I got a back injury very early on in my journey. So part of that was hip mobility. My hips were so immobile, like I could barely rock over from my pelvis. If you think about your pelvis like a cup of water or a jar, and when you rock forward, you're tipping that pelvis forward. And when you don't have this range of motion, the way that you rock forward is from your back. And having a bent back is okay, but the problem for me was as I would drive, my back would bend more, and I would be like contracting my back as I was bending, which is why I got sciatica. But anyways, that would be the first thing. I needed to improve my hip mobility. I came from ice hockey, which was like pushing through your hips quite a lot, so my hips got pretty tight. The other thing as well was just general like posture. So I'm reaching out as long as I can. Again, this is what I'd say in a way I was rowing too long. But the way I was reaching, rather than like sitting up and having your chest up and kind of, letting your shoulders come out kind of a little bit, that's fine. But I was sort of like, rather than being up and being able to engage my lats, I was like reaching like that, and I was kind of letting my shoulders come up like that, and that meant I was loading through here, and I wasn't loading through my lats and into my core. If you've ever been like jet skiing, is that the right word for it? Water skiing? And you see, that's the first thing the instructor tells you is when you get the friggin' rope like this, and you're leaning, the instructor says the mistake everybody makes at the start is they feel that pull and they go, ooh, arms. And then they pull it into here, they use all these muscles, and then they get pulled forward and fall onto their face or whatever. What you want to do, and this is what it's like when I'm walking my dog Tokyo because he pulls so hard, I'm fucking like that. But you want to use your strong muscles. You want to have good posture here and engage your lats and make sure that you're hanging from it. And from here, I was just not doing that, and my shoulders were up. Yeah, I just realized I've just edited it here. I realized that I was talking with this camera up the whole time, and I was like talking through the screen, so I've just had to restart again. So sorry if there's a bit of a jump in between how we're doing this. But anyways, I was talking about how I was hanging and how I was coming through the stroke. So when you come through here, again, I definitely could have kept my body angle further forward for longer until my legs were maybe about like kind of 1/4 to go. But the thing I think I was not doing as well here was when I would come through this part, I'd stop pushing through the foot plate. I'd stop suspending and driving that foot plate away, and kind of I'd just let my weight drop into the seat, and I'd kind of just like bring the arms through and not really like suspend. And the whole point in this foot plate here is so that you can connect and drive the boat and lever against something. If you're just sitting on the seat and letting the arms come through, you're not actually producing force. You're not actually pushing the boat in that direction. So even when our legs are straight-ish, even when they're perfectly straight, we still want to make sure that we maintain connection and push far away with the legs and with the body. So yeah, the biggest thing, I'm kind of starting in the wrong order here, but the biggest thing that was called, I've talked about my imbalance before, and it was still something I struggled with towards the end of my career. My theory is I have a big, massive head, and my center of gravity is really high. So it's as if I've got a pure melon up here, and I'm like trying to balance on this tiny little boat. Anyways, the way that you take the blade out is really important. I've seen some coaches say you should feather the blade under the water. That doesn't make any sense. Like literally, like they say that if you're turning the blade feathered under the water, then you're maintaining connection. But that doesn't make sense, because if the blade is like this, how are you going to push? Even when you're turning the blade feathered, like how is that more connected? You're not pushing. If anything, if you push like this, the blade's just going to slide further under the water and get more caught. And you're not actually creating connection and driving the boat. The blade needs to be like that to push the water. And some coaches say at the finish, when you come through here, you can still push. It's like that is literally how you catch a crab, by pushing when the blade isn't square. Anyways, the only reason that people can get away with that and coaches don't realize that it's wrong is because, at the finish, at this point, you're not really producing force anyways. You still want to produce force for the blade when you come through, but when you get to this point in the stroke, what you want to do is literally just fucking take the blade out square and then turn it feathered. That's literally it. If you do this really well, you will go really quick. And so many people don't do it. It's literally that simple. The hard thing is getting it. The first hard thing is getting it right at low intensity when you're rowing nice and easy. The harder thing is doing that when you're at a high race pace. The easiest drill you can do to improve this is square blade rowing, which people hate, but again, like it makes you faster. So, and again, people don't like it because it doesn't feel good. But it's not about how the drill feels. It's about how it feels when you go back into normal rowing. But anyways, another good drill to practice this. Sit with the boat still. Sit like that. Hands down. Keep the blades squared and buried in the water. So you might feel a little tippy because the blades are like that rather than like, that. Push your hands down. Bring your hands up. Push your hands down. Practice this motion of taking the blade out square like that. And literally just ingrain this and think as you're doing this, I want to do this motion when the boat's moving underneath me. And then literally all you have to do, tap it down and then turn it feathered. If you do this, then this, you will go really quick. I guarantee it. And the boat will feel nicer. You'll be more balanced. Something I wish I just knew at this stage. This coach I had here was a dickhead. I did not like him. But anyways, it's something like kind of Ricky taught me. But anyways, holy shit. I'm sorry about the swearing as well. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm just in a swearing mood. I was getting in an argument with people on Instagram today and yesterday, so I'm a little bit fired up. But anyway, so I nearly did the thing again where I started talking about the video before I swapped to the monitor. But yeah, anyways, so this was me. I really like, this is one of those moments when you're rowing, like you feel like you're rowing really well. You're flowing. Everything feels really good. And someone catches it on camera. Most of the time when the camera comes out, you start rowing worse. But anyways, this is like, for me, I just remember this moment. It felt so nice, so connected, so smooth, so flowing. And we'll just break down what I was doing well here. So first thing I would say is kind of just to go off the end of that the back of that video there. Look at the difference with the blade extraction. Take the blade out square. I'm still not getting it out fully. I'm still kind of there, and then feathering it. Still could be better. And you really need to exaggerate this at a low rate so that you can take it up to the high rates. But anyways, and then I was tapping down low and keeping the hands low as I flowed forward. The mistake people will make is, rather than having the blade here, they have it here and they're dragging it along the water because it feels nice. You feel more stable. But a stable boat, you don't need a stable boat to go fast. You need to be connected and to take the blade out clean, and to be loose, to go fast. But anyways, that would then give me the space where I could square the blade early and flow and be still here on the front here. And to be honest, I think I could have been squaring the blade earlier here. This is still a bit late for me. But the main thing is you kind of have a moment where you're squared. Actually, I don't like how late I'm squaring there. I don't like that. But a moment where you can be squared. So I'm squared here and I can just flow a little bit and stay still. And all I have to do is lift the hand. So you can see here, I'm at this position. there's a good angle forward with the body. I'm much more rocked over from the hips. Seat's going forward. Chest is up. Nice and loose in the shoulders. And all I need to do is get here. Because I'm squared, all I need to do is just if you just look at the hands, I know it's kind of a bit harder. All I'm doing is just taking that weight off the handle. You do not need to lift the hands up. You do not need to use your shoulders to drive the handle up. All you need to do is think about taking your weight off of the handle. The drill you can do to practice this is sit in this position. So just imagine the boat still right now, and you sit in the front position here. And I'm going to bear with me here and just imagine that the boat's stationary, and all you're going to practice is, it's quite a scary drill, but again, going back to the point of don't be afraid of falling in as long as it's safe to do so. Don't be afraid of the boat feeling unstable. Just practice this motion up and down with the hands. Practice it being still here with the body, and it's just literally taking that weight off the handle. If you want to go a level up from that, rather than having your fingers around the handle, have the hands flat. And when you have your hands flat and your fingers, your fingers pointed out like that, there we go. There's the grade 2 finger painting drawing. Rather than, the hand like that. Oh my God. You're practicing not gripping the handle, and as soon as we get fingers around the handle, we start thinking about gripping and being tense. Where if you just try having the handle resting in your palm with your fingers out straight like this, I'm going to stop drawing these fingers. You practice being loose, and you practice that idea of like you're not actually holding the handle, you're just kind of letting your handle, your fingers grip around or kind of rest around the handle rather than holding it. Another analogy I've heard of before, which I like to use, is imagine you're holding an ice cream cone, and you don't want to drop it obviously, but you don't want to break the thing either. But yeah, anyways, so do that and then try and bring that into your normal rowing. What else I was doing well here? I was staying loose as I drove. I still think I could have done this better, but to be honest, I think I could have done that a lot better. But I could have kept my body further forward as I drove and opened with the back. Here, I would say, with the legs quarter down here, I'd say I still could be a bit further forward with the body. But as I levered and as I pushed and as I hanged, I was suspending through the lats, into the glutes, driving through the foot plate and pushing the boat in that direction. And then as I came through here, hang, I'm still maintaining that connection. And when you're connected, when you drive and hang like this, you, because you're hanging through the handle and you're pushing through here and that force is going into the oar, your weight, your mass isn't actually sitting in the boat. It's hanging through the handle and it's being suspended through the oar. And that's why the boat dips out stays out at the finish. And when you're connected, if you lose connection and you drop your weight back down onto the seat, the bow then drops back in and it creates that wash. It creates that sort of splash and that wave, that gets created. So anyways, keep that connection through the finish. And then again, pretty simply what I was doing was just taking the blade out square again, keeping the hands low, sequencing. Again, I was really good at sequencing. I'd get good hip mobility. I worked on it. Again, don't give me this if you're like, I have bad hip mobility, I can't do that. It's like, no, just practice it. I was literally, my hip mobility was so bad. And any chance I could get to practice stretching, I was doing it. I would literally sit in university and lecture halls when I was making dinner. If I was not moving, I was stretching. Again, I was obsessed. You don't have to do what I did, but you definitely can stretch more. While you're sitting at the desk, you could be watching this video right now. For me, it was my glutes. And I would sit like this and have I don't know if you can see it for the camera, but I'd have my foot up there and I would just be leaning, stretching my glutes like this, like literally constantly. So if you've got bad hips or, as you're watching this now, pause the video, get into that glute stretch because you're wasting time right now. Anyways, and then again, I'd rock forward. Think about transferring that weight down low as I rocked forward. Squared early. Could square earlier. Stayed loose and still. Again, this is what really good scullers do. Well, is they get here and just look at how, if you just kind of imagine you actually, I might be, oh, fuck's sake. How long was I doing that for? I'm not going to go back and edit this. I'm sorry. You're going to have to bear with me here. I need to get you, these are new videos for me. So, you're going to have to bear with me here. I will get better, but I don't have the time to go back and re-editing this. Anyways, what I want to try is seeing if we can grab this. No, that's not going to work. Yeah, I think that could work. So what we're going to try is as you slide forward, okay, as you go in like this, if you're just looking at the top end of my stroke, and as I slide forward, oh, fuck's sake. If you were just to look at me sliding into the catch like that, it shouldn't look any different. God damn it, cameraman. If you were just to watch me go into this part of the stroke and you're just looking at this upper part of my body, all that you should see in my head is, a slight movement with the hands there. If you're just looking at my head, it shouldn't look any different from when I go in to when I go out. And again, you can see a bit of that tension. The idea is when you slide in, there's nothing going on in the upper body and nothing else changes. All that happens is just a slight, subtle hand lift where you're just taking that weight off the handle. But anyways, I've covered quite a lot here, given you quite a lot of free coaching. So all of our athletes are going to come complaining to me now, saying I'm giving away too much free shit. So anyways, oh my God, this video has been a mess. Hope you enjoyed it. If you like this style of content, again, I'm still kind of playing around with the YouTube. I'm still trying to figure out like what works well. Let me know what you think. Let me know what you found useful. Let me know if you have any questions. If you want, I'm going to put a technical checklist in the description here. So I've made this checklist as if I wasn't giving you enough free advice already, where you can work on your rowing boat, your rowing machine in the boat, rowing machine only. You can get a copy of this and you can basically just go through, I'm doing that. Ideally, I don't know, you can maybe put like a ranking or something out of it if you wanted to like rank yourself. And then, you can just monitor your technique as you progress and it'll be in line with the advice that we give as well. So you can kind of track your progression a little bit, but let me know what you think. If you want us to help you do this, you want us to just tell you what you're doing wrong. If you want to pay us and we will just help you get here faster, if just avoid trying to figure this out on your own. If you want to make these changes, now, feel free to apply to our coaching. The form is in the bio if you want to see if you're a great fit. Again, we don't work with everybody. We need to make sure that people are going to be coachable and they're going to be good to work with. Coaching is as much for us as it is for the athlete. We have to enjoy the coaching as well in order to give the best service possible. So if you want to see if you could be a great fit for our coaching, go in and fill in the application form. If not, if you want to try figure this stuff out on your own, I just enjoy making these videos. I don't have much time to do them, but when I do, I find them quite fun. All the best. Like and subscribe. Share this. I'm trying to grow the channel. I've got an ego. I like to see that number go up. Okay, right. I want to fucking end this video now. Bye, everybody. Oh, if you stay to the end, comment glass. And okay, right. Bye.